Hola chicos, ¿cómo están? I realize you may need a little bit more instruction with the reflexive verbs, so this is a video to give you the answers to the reflexive verbs activity for today, which is kind of like filling in some guided notes. So let me share, and I'm going to annotate on Kami just like you will on your activity. So if you want to go ahead and open that up on Schoology, and I'm going to read through it for you. So a reflexive verb is a verb that indicates that the subject does something to or for itself. Like I bathe myself, I comb my hair, I brush my teeth. Those kinds of routine verbs are typically reflexive. So the subject reflects the action back at itself. So I do something to myself, you do something to yourself, he does something to himself, etc. They always have reflexive pronouns, short words that say to whom the action is being done. And the pronouns are located either before the reflexive verb if it's conjugated, or attached to if it's in the infinitive. So here in the infinitive, we see that little say on the end, and that's what indicates that your verb is reflexive, that it means to do something to oneself. So lavarse is to wash oneself. Levantarse is to get oneself up, like you're getting up for school or something. Peinarse is to comb one's hair. And ponerse is to put on or to put one's item of clothing, right? So poner is to put, but ponerse we typically use as clothing because you put it on yourself. So anatomía de un verbo reflexivo. It says there's three parts. There's like the stem, there's the ending, and then there's the reflexive pronoun. Now, if your subject changes, then your reflexive pronoun changes too, because remember your subject and your reflexive pronoun have to agree, right? So if it's pongo, then the reflexive pronoun is going to be me. Yo me pongo. If it's in the to form, it would be tú te pones. Él, ella, usted, si, se pone. So you're conjugating like regular present tense. You're just putting this little reflexive pronoun before the conjugated verb. Nosotros nos ponemos. We put our clothes on. Vosotros os ponéis. Accent on the E. Remember that os is only used in Spain. In Latin America, you would use this ellos, ellas, ustedes form, which would be se. Notice the singular and plural are both se. You don't put an S on the end of it. And then pone. And that's an N on the end there. So to conjugate the reflexive verb, and there's going to be a little song that comes up later in the week that goes with this order. So we decide the subject. So here in the sentence, a las 8, yo, ducharse. The subject of the sentence, the person doing the action is yo, right? Then you take off the say, you stick it in your pocket, just hold on to it for a minute. And so, it's duchar is your verb, right? That's your regular AR verb in the infinitive. And then you conjugate your verb. So in the yo form, it would be ducho, right? When you're done with that, you take the pronoun out, you turn it around. That means you change it as appropriate to agree with the subject, and you put it in the front. Your pronouns have to go before your conjugated verb, so it becomes me ducho. So anytime you have a verb with a se on the end, lavarse, ponerse, bañarse, ducharse, etc., when you conjugate it, you have to put one of these reflexive pronouns before the conjugated verb. All right, this says, so you are not confused. Almost any verb can be reflexive or not. Now, we don't want to go around making every verb reflexive, but in the right context, pretty much any verb can be reflexive. Me peso. Me peso, pesar is to weigh. So that would mean I weigh myself. It is reflexive, right? Because it's something that I do to myself. However, if I like pick my cat up to weigh my cat, then it's not reflexive anymore. I'm weighing someone else. So that would be like, I weigh the cat. So pesar without that reflexive pronoun is just to weigh. Pesarse say, when we add that reflexive pronoun on the end, it means to weigh oneself. Special circumstances. If we use a reflexive infinitive, we must change the pronoun, but leave it attached to the end instead. So if you have the reflexive verb in the infinitive form, then it attaches on the end of your verb. So here, for example, we have like a prepositional phrase, después de, and that always uses the infinitive, right? After showering myself, I go to school. So you basically, with two verbs, you're going to have two different options. So if there's two verbs in your sentence, like there's a ir plus a plus an infinitive, or a tener plus que plus the infinitive, or something like that, then you always have the option to put your pronoun before your conjugative verb or attach it to the infinitive. So here I will highlight for you. We are seeing may here before the conjugative form of ir. So this is ir plus a plus an infinitive. I'm going to shower. So this says I'm not going to shower myself, right? I'm not going to take a shower. Showering is like automatically something you do to yourself. And the second way means exactly the same thing. You could attach that may to the infinitive, right? So just be careful because you don't want to put it in the middle. Your conjugative verb and your infinitive are BFFs. They have to stay together. So you don't want that may like in the middle interrupting them. You either want it all the way in front of your verb phrase or attached all the way at the end. With the present progressive, which is a verb tense we haven't really gotten to yet, the same thing happens. So this means I am showering. So it can either go before the conjugative form of estar, we're going to get to this really soon, or it can go attached to this thing called the participle, which is like the ing word. So I wouldn't worry too much about that one. We're going to get to that very soon. And then here's another example of the ir plus a plus infinitive, which is very similar to the first negative statement. Not sure why they separated those out. So just a little list of some reflexive verbs here. All of these you can see have that say on the end. That is what makes them reflexive. And you can see that added in the translation, it's to do something to oneself. All right, little reading that I'm going to let you guys kind of do on your own. It says, compare your schedule with Ana Maria's schedule. You're going to read and then you're going to answer the questions. Now, when you answer these for yourself, let me give you a little head start here. The te changes to may, right? Just like you change the yo form to the, or the to form to the yo form. Same thing here, change the te to may and then change your verb to the yo form. So te despiertas becomes me despierto. Do you wake up before or after Ana Maria? And you'll continue your sentence. Now in number two, it's necesitas. And so there is no reflexive pronoun, right? There's no te there, so you just need necesito and how much time you need to get ready for the morning. Una hora or 30 minutos or whatever. Number three, there is a te. So the te changes to may and we change our verb as well because our verb form needs to agree with our subject. Yo me ducho. The yo is kind of optional. You can totally put the yo in front if you want. It doesn't make a difference. You can tell from the verb, right, what your subject is. All right. So you guys do that little reading, writing, and then turn in the assignment, top right.